The Project Cars series is one that is currently sitting on some extremely thin ice, with the last iteration of the game being completely out of left field, and the last two titles before that not living up to expectations. There does need to be some work done to revive the series and make Project Cars what it needs to be and what it could be. And today we'll discuss what should be done and what has to be done to save that series. A major and noticeable flaw of Project Cars 3 would be the graphics of the game. Project Cars 2 was one of the most visually stunning sim titles out there, so most would expect that the next iteration of the game would be a step above and beyond that, right? However, no. Project Cars 3 was actually a step backwards in terms of graphics. A lot of the car models had low reflection, if any, and can look like Play-Doh in some conditions. A lot of the same can also be said about the tracks. This can affect the immersion and realism you expect from a sim title. Project Cars 4 at the very least must be on par graphically with Project Cars 2, and even better would be to take the Project Cars 2 graphics engine up to 11 for the next game. The physics in Project Cars have never been where they should have been, and it seems like Project Cars 3 just gave up and went into the arcade sector. Now, there's nothing fundamentally wrong with the physics, but in my opinion it's definitely the wrong direction for a Project Cars game. It fell below Forza Motorsport 7 and Gran Turismo Sport in terms of realism, and I'd say is closer to the Grid games. That is part of the reason why Project Cars 3 sold worse than the McDonald's Hula Burger. You can't pull an Uno reverse card on a game's direction, claim the opposite, and expect it to go well. We may have gotten a hint of a change in direction to the most hardcore, realistic, leaves moving on track sim available in some tweaks in the developer, which were, to say the least, questionable. While the world's most hardcore sim may not be needed, an improvement on the Project Cars 2 physics would go over nicely in my opinion. All it needs to do to achieve that is to iron out some of the issues like suspension, stability, and track surfaces, just to name a few. To say the very least, the marketing for Project Cars 3 was miscalculated and confusing. On one hand, they were saying that this would be a simulator, being more realistic than ever. But on the other hand, they were also stating that there would be no pit stops, no tire wear, and heavy customization. At first, most Project Cars fans were confused about what was coming out of Slightly Mad Studios. Would we get another sim, or an arcade game that no one asked for? It soon became clear that we would not get another sim as we hoped, but an arcadey game that aimed to be a successor to the Shift series. This rubbed many fans the wrong way, with many choosing not to purchase the game only weeks after it was announced. I think that if the title was marketed in the right way from the start, stating it would be an arcade game from the get-go, more people would have given it a chance and more new players would have purchased the game as it had more time to get its name out there. Project Cars 4 needs to do just that, but I'm afraid the game's history of overpromise, underdeliver may repeat itself again with the fourth title in the series. We've seen the now deleted tweets stating that this will be the best sim out there. However, with the EA purchase, I don't see it living up to expectations once again. One new feature of Project Cars 3 would be the addition of car customization into the game. This came with one major issue. On a lot of the cars, the customization changed nothing on the car visually and affected little if anything on the car performance-wise. In my opinion, the best option would be to completely ditch the idea of customization. Project Cars always seems to do a little too much, leading to more problems, and removing one unimportant aspect of the game would allow for a better focus on the more needed parts of Project Cars 4. If Slightly Mad choose to keep the customization, it has to work both visually and performance-wise. There's no point in buying a Winger Splitter if there's no performance gains and no cosmetic changes. The tracklist for both Project Cars 2 and Project Cars 3 was quite good with good variety. It remained more or less the same between the two titles with just a few additions. There wasn't much to complain about on that front. One thing that should be updated is the car list. While there's nothing inherently wrong with it, more additions as well as more modern cars would help a ton, as well as reducing the total number of cars or removing those that most do not touch. Once again, when a game does too much, it can increase the problems with other parts of said game. There are cars that aren't really touched by the community and just add unneeded space and time when developing the game. The main problem with the Project Cars career mode is that there seems to be no depth to it. It's just an average win X championship to progress to Y series over and over and over again. At the moment, there isn't a sim which has nailed the career mode, and this is one area that Project Cars can capitalize on. Adding some depth by including cutscenes, some sort of an actual story, and more things to keep the players invested and involved would be amazing, and could set the sim apart from others. With the game looking to revert back to more of a sim focus, an outstanding career is, while appreciated, might not be paramount in elevating the Project Cars series to where it once was and where it one day could be. In summary, the developers of Project Cars do have a lot on their plate if they want to save the Project Cars series. I think that if they looked at the fundamental problems of the Project Cars series as a whole and just worked to iron out those kinks and maybe add a few things, I think that it still is possible to save this series. However, it might be a lost cause. Let me know what you think of the Project Cars series down below and what you think will happen with Project Cars in the next coming years. That has been another video from me. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay safe, stay positive. This will be me signing off. Peace out.